Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me to introduce myself. My name is Muh Aqil Musafar from the Islamic University of Kaharuddin, Makassar, majoring in English education. The purpose and goal of making this video is to work on our discuss the MIT test project. And on this occasion, I will discuss 5 topics, including that phonetics is a study of speech sound, the benefit of phonetics as a study of English sound, the prediction of English consonant sound, manner and place of articulation, and the prediction of English consonant sound distinctive feature, and the last is phonetic exercise for articulating English consonant sound. Immediately, the first discussion is phonetics as a study of speech sound. The first question is, what is phonetics? Phonetics is a field of study that studies speech sound, which has studied the sound wave of language that are issued and received language sound for analysis. The second question is, phonetics as a study of speech sound. Speech sound is plainly a sound which uttered within a given language. In other words, a sound that came of a person's mouth when speaking represents his vocal language. An example of a speech sound can be seen in the word book. This word seems to have three sounds, i.e. pa, and u and k, in which pa is the representative of letter p, is the representative of letter u, and k is the representative of letter k. Phonetics is not only of the study of sound, but phonetics also studies several components of sound, such as the study of the physical aspect, speed, delivery, and sound reception, and from the functional aspect, namely the role played by speech sound in the particular language. The study of phonetics itself can be studied without including the study of semantics, or in the other word, phonetic studies are meaning-free studies. The third question is, phonetics as a study of speech organ. Explain as detailed as possible. Give example if necessary. Articulator are the organ of speech that people use for producing the speech sound of a language. They include the lips, teeth, alveoli, palate, phylum, uvula, glottis, and various parts of the tongue, e.g. tip, middle, and back part. I will explain the shape of the articulator used to produce speech sound in his mouth. The first is the pharynx, the back part of the mouth, and the other is the beginning of the way through the nasal cavity. If you look in the mirror with our mouth open, you can see the back of the pharynx. Next is the phylum. Phylum or soft palate is soft area at the top in the mouth and that allow air to pass through the nose and through the mouth. When people speak, it is raised so that the air cannot flow through the nose. Next is the hard palate. It's the smooth surface that from the top of the mouth behind the front teeth. Next is namely the alveolar. It's also known as the alveolar, one of the two jaws, either on the roof of the mouth between the upper teeth and the hard palate, or on the bottom of the mouth behind the lower teeth. Next is the tongue. It's the soft, movable part in the mouth that can be moved into many different places and different shapes. Next is the teeth. Are hard structure at the front of the mouth, immediately behind the lips, upper and lower. And the last is the lips. Are the two soft part the mouth, which can be used to produce several different with sound, but consonant and vowel. The last question is phonetic as a study of speech production. Explain as detailed as possible. Give example if necessary. The production of speech sound leads to the process of using an articulator to produce sound that start from flowing air provided by the lungs. The air then enters through the glottis of the larynx, which is then modified by the vocal tract or vocal nocivity into sound quality, which are consonant and vowel. The production of consonant sound is mainly determined by two factors: the place where the sound are produced, the place of articulation, and the way in which the articulates, the manner of articulation. For example, when a person wants to make a sound, he has to move his lips together and block the airflow for a moment. After that, he had to suddenly release the air pressure inside his mouth, which causes a explosive sound. Therefore, the place of articulation of the sound is called the bilabial, and the method is called the stop, also known as the plosive. Continuing the second question, namely benefit of phonetic as a study of English sound. The first question: problem producing consonant, what sound, and give example. The main objective of learning English for Indonesian language learners generally to improve their skill to communicate in English effectively. To be proficient in English, they must have knowledge of micro-speaking skill, namely English pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, coherence, fluency, and comprehension. In terms of mastering pronunciation skill, student must be able to effectively pronounce English sentence as word combination that they learn. Therefore, first of all, it is important to show the data regarding the student problem in producing English consonant. The data come from scientific research conducted by Tiono and Yustanto, who examined 6 consonant sounds, namely made by student Indonesian English. The first, I will describe the problem in producing sound. The research called this tendency as a deviation, and they found that the deviation occurs when the sound exists in the initial, medial, as well as in the final position, e.g. in the word is pronounced by Villa by the learner, V in initial position. Next is the problem producing sound. Phonetical, the sound is known as voice dental fricative. As for the learner, the sound is difficult to produce because it also does exist in Indonesian sound system. They tend to make deviation when articulating sound, substituting it with sound D, as well as next is the problem in producing sound. The deviation made by the learner is to replace sound with sound T, as in the word thunder in English. this word shall be pronounced thunder, but is the pronounced thunder by the learner. Next is the problem producing sound s, s. The replacement of s with s and s with s. The phrase error occurs when the learner replaces sound s with s. As in the word cheap, that is pronounced cheap in English, but is incorrectly pronounced as cheap by the learner. Next is the problem in producing sound t. The deviation in the pronunciation of the is the replacement of sound with G as in the word general with sound by pronounced general, but is pronounced general. Next is the problem in producing sound The deviation consists of the replacement of with s and s. The first deviation is identified when the learner replaces sound with s, as in the word decision that shall be pronounced decision. However, it is pronounced decision. The second question is problem in producing vowel sound. What sound and give example. According to Odin, the International Phonetic Alphabet divides English sound into 58 consonant and 28 vowel. The vowel consists of monophthong, pure vowel, and diphthongs among those pure vowels that exist in English. There are 6 pairs of vowels that are also known as short vowel and long vowel. They are E, A, F, A, U, known as short vowel, and E, A, S, U, called long vowels. The problem in producing sound E. The replacement of sound E with A in the initial position can be seen in the word examine. In English, the word shall be pronounced examine, but the learner replaces sound E with the sound with result examine. Next is the problem in producing sound E. According to research, the replacement only occurs in the middle position. The substitution of sound E with A can be seen in the word this. In English, this word shall be pronounced this, but the learner pronounce is as this. Next is the problem in producing sound A. The replacement of sound A with E is found in the pronunciation of the word general, in which the learner tend to pronounce it as general instead of general as the correct one. Next question is the benefit given by a phonetic to cope with the problem. Refer to theory. The benefit of phonetics to solve the problem. The first is help us to know and understand about the sound of language and not the sound of language. Can know more about how the organ works, such how to shape an organ to move. Can distinguish the sound of language. Can can distinguish the sound of language, and the fourth is can distinguish between the two sounds in the terms of shape and acoustic quality. And the last is have to know exactly the property of sound such as landstop, stress, and high-low sound is the language being studied. Continuing the third discussion, namely the production of English consonant sound, manner, and place of articulation. The first question is place of articulation. Explain in detail and give example. There are 6 speech organs used to utter consonant sound, i.e. the lips, the teeth, the alveolar, right, the hard palate, and the soft palate, or phylum, and 4 parts of the tongue, i.e. the tip, the blade, the body, and the root. In terms of place of articulation, consonant sound in American English can be classified into X sound, CC, Murcia, Benton, and Goodwin, and they are easily remembered by the acronym B, La, D, A, Pat, P, V, Glo, Le, in which B is for bilabial, La is for labidental, D is for dental, A is for alveolar, P is for palatal, P is for palato-alveolar, V is for velar, Glo is for glottal, and La is for labiovelar. First, I will give an example to labidental sound. Fa and Fa. Fa and Fa. Consonant sound which are produced by contacting the lower lip and upper teeth, as in sound Fa, the word five, and the word fila. The second is dental sound. T, or D. These consonant sounds are made when tongue tip for sound T, or tongue that are just behind the tip for sound T, contacts upper teeth as into two T, sound is sound T, as in the word Thursday, and sound T, as in the word this. Next is alveolar sound. T, ch, ta, 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 la, sa, 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 sa. The consonant sounds are made when the tongue tip contacts the alveolar right, the gums just behind the teeth, a sound T, ch, in the word tie. In the word tie, sound ta, ta. In the word die. The fourth is palatal sound. The sounds are produced when the blade of the tongue, middle of tongue, touch the hard palate. Sound T, T, as in the word judge. Sound Ch, Ch, as in the word Ch, Ch, and sound yeah, as in the word young. The fifth is palato-alveolar sound. S, S, Ch, The sound are articulate when the tip, the tablet of the tongue approach or touch the alveoli and the main body of the tongue. The harpulate in the mouth is sound, and the word sip, in which the tip of the tongue is used, sound as in the word casual, as in the word casual, in which the blade of the tongue is used, er, as in the word remember, in which the tip of tongue approach never touch the area in the mouth between alveoli and harpulate. The second is manner of articulation. Explain in detail and give example. The four manner of articulation give basic distinction of how consonant sound are made through 7 concepts of manner of articulation. A is stopped, fricative, nasal, lateral, and approximant. The 6 manner of articulation are easily remembered by the acronym STU, F, A, NAS, L, A. STU stands for stop, F stands for fricative, A stands for affricative, NAS stands for nasal, and L stands for lateral, and A stands for approximant. But I will only explain the 3 concepts I mentioned earlier. The first is stops or plosive. The English consonant sound produced through this manner of articulation are p, as in the word pen, t, as in the word tie, k, as in the word k, and p, as in the word by. The second is fricative. This type of manner of articulation produces consonant sound by blocking the airstream in the mouth but not making complete closure. A complete closure belongs to a stop that the air moves through the mouth and produces audible friction ag as in the word cycle, as in the word zoom, as in the word fan, as in the word fast, and as in the word method. And the last is affricatives. This manner of articulation produces consonant by blocking the airstream briefly with the tongue in the mouth, but in contrast to stop, the blocked airstream is suddenly not released but is slowly released and causes audible friction ag sound, a sound as in the word check, and as in the word as in the word jump. The next discussion is the production of English consonant sound distinctive feature. What is distinctive feature in consonant sound? Explain as detailed as possible. Give example if necessary. in which distinctive feature is defined as something unique or different that sets someone or something apart from the rest. In English, some different consonant sounds are produced in the sound place and manner of articulation, e.g. sound p and p. These sounds are both identified as bilabial and stop sound. The second question is how to identify distinctive feature. Explain as detailed as possible. Give example if necessary. Distinctive feature is then used that is to identify the sound distinct by knowing whether the vocal cords vibrate when the consonant sound are make voice, or whether the vocal cords do not vibrate when the consonant sound are voiceless. To test to the voicing quality of the consonant sound, the learner may place their finger on the voice box, i.e. the location of the Adam's apple in the upper throat. This is done to know whether the vocal cord vibrates or not when a particular consonant sound is made. For example, in distinguishing sound p and p, the learner produces sound p while placing their finger over the voice box. They shall not feel the vibration. In a nutshell, sound p is a voiceless bilabial stop, and sound p is a voice bilabial stop. P is a voice bilabial stop. The next question is the distinctive feature of consonant pair. Explain as detailed as possible. Give example if necessary. Place of articulation: stop bilabial p, stop alveolar t, stop velar k, stop. Place of articulation: fricative labiodental, fricative labiodental, fricative dental, fricative dental, fricative alveolar, fricative alveolar, z, fricative palato-alveolar, s, fricative alveolar, t, fricative glottal. Place of articulation: fricative palatal, fricative palatal, place of articulation: nasal bilabial, nasal dental, n, and the last place of articulation: approximant, w, approximant palatal, approximant r, approximant labiovelar, The last question is consonant letter and their consonant sound. Explain as detailed as possible. Give example if necessary. After studying the types of consonant sound in English from the point of view of place, way of articulation, students then need to know how to use them to pronounce consonant in English word. This is important because in English, consonants usually represent one consonant sound, but some consonants, for example, C, Ch, S, can represent two different consonant sounds. Next, I will explain some consonant letters with their consonant sound. Letter B sound P. Used in English word baby, best, buy, bring, blind, absent. Letter C sound S. Center, cellar, cigarette, cinema. Letter C sound K. K. Used in English word cake, calm, cucumber, clean. Letters D sound T. Using English word day, dear, door, admire, hidden, lady. Letters V sound F. Use in English word fast, female, forest, phone, fly. Letters G sound K. Game, gap, gun. Sound G sound Ch. Use in English word general, giant, agent. Letters G sound Use in English word break, gerek, right. letters I sounds Use in English word hair, help, history, ham, hotel. Letters G sounds ch. Use in English word jam, jen, jet, jelly, team, jingle. Okay, let's go to the last discussion, namely phonetics exercise for articulating English consonant sound. The first question: why student needs phonetics exercise? In my opinion, to overcome their difficulties in producing English sound but make their pronunciation accurate, know the layout and process of sound formation, and be aware of the difference in sound formation in every language in the world. Next question: what interaction the student need to do when doing phonetics exercise? My answer is focus on making the required consonant sound. Think how to make the required consonant sound as interest in the place of articulation and manner of articulation before making the sound. Next is produce the required sound slowly and accurately. When you get accustomed to making the sound accurately, then you can produce the sound fluently. Next to the last question. The exercise of producing a English consonant sound specify its sound and practice the exercise in the word at least 10 words for one consonant sound and articulate the sound as natural as possible by implementing your knowledge of phonetics. The first is voiceless bilabial stop sound pill, pill, peace, peace, peer, peer. Next, voice bilabial stop sound b, b, beat, beat, beer, beer. Next, voiceless alveolar stop sound team, team, tip, tip, tell, tell. Next, voice alveolar stop sound ta, ta, deep, deep, deal, deal, dear, dear. Next, voiceless failures to sound keen, keen, keep, keep, kill, kill. Next, voice failures to sound give, 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 get, get, get. Maybe this all I can say. If there is an error in pronunciation and in the explanation it can be understood, please forgive me, and I thanks to lecturer Dr. Andi Kaharuddin S.I.P M.hum who has with and helped me all this time. And I also thanks to my friend who have helped me in this course. I close this discussion by saying Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.